Okay, today I wanted to share you the Italkit 140cc in the racing configuration with just one segment in the piston. I will show you what is inside the box and also compare this with the original cylinder for the Rotax 122 and also a nice 70cc racing cylinder for a Minarelli vertical that has some good similarities that I'll show you later. Inside the box I find gaskets, small end bearings and the head with nuts and bolts. Then the cylinder is in this box, which I find a bit underwhelming, because you then open it like this and there is no material around the cylinder, so it could get damaged. Let's open it out. Okay, here you go. Inside the cylinder there was also the piston, which is a Vertex, as you can see. We'll discuss the piston in a second. Let's now focus on the cylinder. I'll show you a few high-level things with this cylinder and then we'll go into the few details that I like and I don't like. So yeah, exterior is not it's not bad, it's well done. As you can see, the exhaust port is not round. You probably find this in a few high-spec cylinders or go-kart. Ports are nice. This is a 57mm bore. The same configuration as the original one, with 4 main ports and one on the back. And an admission as the other one. In terms of exhaust, you can see the main port and the 2 boosters on the side. Yeah, I guess the casting here was done well by the machineries. There are a few things that probably would have been done better, but we'll check those in a second. What you also can see is the hole here for the pneumatic valve, which is handy. The original doesn't have it. Let's check the detail of this Italkit 140. Let's start from the exhaust port. I have the original cylinder here side by side and the Italkit. And by the way, on the original one I've tuned the intake, but I have left unchanged the exhaust port. So as you can see, the Italkit has a 2mm larger diameter here. The original is 36mm in diameter. The Italkit is 38, at least from here to here. 38. On the inside, let's turn them around. On the inside, the main port is probably slightly bigger on the Italkit, just probably because of the bore is larger. What I feel is different is the size of the booster. So if you look at the booster on the original cylinder, it is very tiny. And probably what everyone does is it is kind of ported on to make it just a better shape and slightly larger. On the Italkit, this is much better, and you can see the size of the booster is a bit larger. What you can see is a shadow of the plating on that booster, which is probably not the best plating that I've seen. But I'll go back to the plating in a second. I'll share a few dimensions of the various ports later on, but now let's just check the intake, the admission. So this is probably the part where I was not fully satisfied by Italkit. but I think that is an easy thing to solve. So what I'll show you here is kind of what is the standard modification that you can do to the original cylinder without replating, which is kind of a nightmare here in Australia. So typically the original cylinder has the ports that have this shape, almost they're cut this way. And when you overlay that with the shape of the ports on the base, what you can see is this part that is visible here, that really doesn't match with the shape of the base. Let me just put it back. So what you typically do to increase the overall area of flow, just need to remove this part. So this is what has been done in these cylinders, as you can see. So instead of having kind of this shape, rectangular shape here, it just elongates in this direction. Why this is done? Because then when you look from the inside, let's see if we can see that from here. Pretty much you can see here the aluminium on the right hand side, on the bottom part, while here you just pretty much go straight into the base. Here you can see my finger here. If I do the same on this cylinder, this is kind of much smaller the part. So definitely this is kind of something that needs to be tuned, and even on the center part you can see this is quite narrow, and if I go here it is much bigger, and this allows just what I've realized when I've done this modification is just kind of the way the cylinder, the engine really kind of gets from the 10,000 to the 12,000 is much easier. Just breathe much better. One thing that I don't like as much of the Italkit is the plating, and I know this can go wrong sometimes, but you can see here on one of the main ports, plating is probably not the best, and so yeah, I think I was hoping for something better, especially here in Australia. Is as I said, is a nightmare just to get it big blade. The other thing that you can see here, the original, is I found this intake quite small, and I don't know the reason why. Also, what you can see here is for the same reason, once this port is open, it just kind of doesn't have enough space as this other one. Sometimes I also find this, a few tuners just remove completely this part. That is very evident here. Perhaps the last part that I find funny of this cylinder, that otherwise looks good, is this section here. So in the original it's very full and follow the carter. Here I don't know why they've done this angle, and it looks very odd, especially when you put the gasket on. The gasket follow the same round profile of the original, while here is a bit thin. So hopefully there will not be any air leakage from here to here, which is quite thin. So that was probably not super smart, especially as we will port this part of the cylinder. Shouldn't impact this, but I would have liked a bit bigger area here. Anyway, as I said before, this is a nice plus in this video, which is a comparison with the Maxi Scoot 70cc hyper racing cylinder. This is air cooled that should give you 18 horsepower, so quite powerful. So what I would like to show you, as you can see, this cylinder has also the admission on the side of the cylinder, which is probably not the best, but they've done in a smart way. And so let's just compare two things here. One is this part that I mentioned before, as you can see here in the maxi scooter, they've done a different shape and it's coming back much more. So that means that the airflow can go from the carburetor, reads, and immediately here. Otherwise, kind of typically the issue that you have, it gets stuck here. So just to maximize the flow, really kind of this need to be done, or at least this is what I've done. The very interesting part is when you turn the cylinder here, and you can see what these guys have done just to maximize the flow. They've removed the part that is between the side port, sorry, the back port, and this and the intake. Yeah, just to maximize the flow, which I find very, very interesting. The other thing that you see here, they really try to maximize this area here, which here is quite narrow for the size of these boards. When you look at the cylinder in this way, oops, you can really see, you almost feel the airflow going into the base of the engine. This is definitely not the case here. As I turn this, it's much more constrained, so we need to work on this.